Welcome, my name's Chris, and this week I am back with a lesson on practicing. I often ask my students when they come back for lessons, how did the practice go? Did you get a chance to look at this? And these are usually music majors in college, so they're really supposed to practice. And they often say, no, I got really busy this week, and it often gets away from us, right? I've been guilty of this for many years, and I figured out through not only trial and error, but wiser teachers than I, how to get a consistent practice in, even though I'm busy like everyone, and I wish it was more consistent, but I have been overall successful, and I'm here to show you 5 ways to stay motivated, stay energized with your practice, and to just spend a little time with it on a daily basis. Tip number 1, study things that light you up. You need to be into stuff that musically makes you feel something, right? That's the whole goal. I think that's extremely helpful. And I understand sometimes we do have to play other things. We're committed to something, or you're in a school group or in lessons and you have to learn a certain piece. You want to try to avoid the situations as much as possible in some respects of having to play music that you are not passionate about. So, there's also an attitude adjustment sometimes by playing music that you're not as into. You can still benefit from. It's still making you better. You're taking in music. So find that happy balance, but find stuff that really lights you up. It could be also styles of playing, technique, tone, the overall spirit, the vibe of the music, the rhythm. Find these things that you can take in that will inspire you to go for maybe to imitate it first, and then before you know it, you're doing your own thing and have your own sound and authenticity. Music is a plant. It's like a little plant in your brain and in your soul, and you have to come and give it some water and attention, right? It's amazing when you start doing this on a daily basis. And I tell students, start with 10 or 15 minutes. I would rather have 15 minutes with a timer on, no distractions, focused practice from a student on a daily basis. That could make a whole music career happen, right? Believe it or not, I really believe that. I think the more you do it, though, you'll, of course, spend more time than 15 minutes. And on the days that you do miss, you will be more well-weathered. You won't forget everything. But we're trying to get this more permanent, more mental in our head. I want to be able to practice the guitar even away from the guitar, thinking about certain elements of the piano. Or you're just hearing music in my head, thinking about musical concepts, digesting them, working on new material or reviewing songs in my head. There's lots of ways of doing that, and that can help us stay consistent. I love this analogy of music being a car, and if you are playing music, you're driving the car. So you can't pull the car over and work on it just on the highway. You're going to, drive home if you can. And if there's something wrong with the car, if there's something you want to get better at with practicing, find that specific part and work on it, right? But then the car can't drive, right? So that's a really cool way of separating your playing and practice. I didn't understand this for a long time, and now I see that practicing should be those hard parts that we don't want to show anyone, but that are bad and we need to address. And we can weather that bad sound or that feeling bad at something if we understand, okay, once I work on this, I can drive it, right? I can actually use this technique or this new tune, this new chord, whatever it is. I can use that skill to then have as a tool of self-expression, and that's the part that makes it worth it. Tip number 4, realize the benefits. There are so many here, and when you get tip number 3 down and you're consistent, you'll feel them. You will be really aware how well you feel after practicing. I think that it's really can be a joint meditation somewhat. I don't meditate, but I feel like practicing is kind of like that. I just want to get into this groove, and I also feel like I'm almost managing myself. It's a weird kind of not out-of-body experience, but it's been helpful, right? I just want to see, okay, how's Chris doing? Is he, focused enough? I often am not focused, so I'm practicing this. I'm practicing making videos, right? I was built late this week, and better late than never, though, right? So everything's a work of progress, and I'm practicing things at the same time. And my practice quality has gone up tremendously as I've learned to enjoy my practice. And I don't get a ton of, like for drums, I play drums in a band. I practice maybe an hour and a half a week total outside of rehearsal, probably less than that. And I feel like I still improve. I wish I had so much more time to practice, but I just don't for that instrument. I can only play it at certain times and it's loud. And so I do what I can, right? But I listen to music. I listen to drum lessons even away from the drums. I'm just curious now. And I'm always wanting to grow and learn. So this has been such a rewarding and beneficial thing. And it really kept my sanity. It's very therapeutic, really endless benefits. Plus you get better, right? You get more familiar, more deeply acquainted mentally. And that's what it's about, right? It's a snowball that rolls in the right direction. It gets bigger and bigger, gets more momentum. Tip number 5, live in a spirit of learning. Find teachers, find mentors, find inspiration from other people, and you'll be amazed at how much the curiosity alone will drive your practicing. And you'll see people, put out cool stuff or teach us something in a certain way that makes you really excited to practice it. And that can inspire you. This has been a huge thing for me, and it reminds me as a teacher, I have to have this permanent student kind of mindset to be an effective teacher, I think. There's kind of this chain that has to happen, right? So I have to be taught to teach, right? And that helps me distill what I'm learning and to have the best advice. I'm kind of like a concierge of music, right? I want to have the best advice in order to help students with unique problems. They always have different problems. They're often related, and they have different goals, right? So I have to be able to distill all this stuff into their heads, hopefully, and to have a good example for them. And of course, it helps me as a player. I'm able to, continue learning. I never want to put rest of my laurels and be like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, because I'm not. I know how bad I am at certain things, and there's no good and bad here, right? I'm just unfamiliar with certain things because I'm more familiar with others, right? And that's how we all are. So overall, try to find a teacher, find philosophies you like about music, find ways of thinking about it, find music writing, find, of course, a bunch of music that really moves you. And you can learn from that too, right? That's always the teacher. The ultimate music teacher is music. That's all I've got for you this week. I have a new newsletter. Eventually we'll be on an email list, but I'll link it below. It's about this exact same topic. It's just in text form, some different things to think about. And I will be back next week. Subscribe to this channel if this has been helpful. I'll be back typically on Thursdays. I've got my spring break for my schools coming up, so I want to get ahead a couple weeks. I'm going to be practicing making more videos for you. I've got lots of stuff coming up, things that have really helped me as a player and a teacher at many different angles, playing the drums, playing piano, guitar, bass, teaching in many different settings, seeing lots of problems and trying to fix a few of them, and fixing a lot of my own problems and working on the ones I can't yet fix. And I think that's what we're all doing, right? So until then, I'll see you next week, and I'll be back with another lesson. Thanks.